Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
And definitely here we go again. Good morning to you wherever you are viewing Western Spring Television, the station that says it as it is, point blank, 100. It's my delight to be back again. It's really nice to know you're there on the other side. And thanking you indeed for always, and as I say, always been here with us every time we are on set and amongst every other programs that comes out from Western Spring Television. This is Morning Spring. And this is where we showcase everything that you need to see and hear about, ranging from politics, the economy, governance, electoral issues, so many things. When the conversation definitely is ripe, you sit back, enjoy the ride with us. It's another beautiful Thursday morning, and here we go at this point in time. Tunde Idowu is my name, welcoming you to today's edition of Morning. If you're joining us for the very first time, I'd like to welcome you specially. And most especially, I'd like to let you know that you can check us out on all our social media handles, on YouTube at Western Spring Television. We are blazing hot with that. Today, we will kick off as usual, checking out stories making the rounds from the dailies for today. And I have a couple of them with me this morning. And it's not just going to be me alone. Somebody amazing is on the show as well with me, and very shortly, you know what it takes. I will just definitely do the needful, brush up, and well, it's fine. Well, I'll be joined very shortly by my colleague, and we will be unveiling her very soon. Okay, you already know it's a her. It's she. Okay, all right then. Well, let's take a short break right now, and when we return, the newspapers are here. We'll check out the headlines, and we'll get concrete and proficient analysis from somebody in the house. He's no other person but Ladi Jalabi. He'll be here very shortly with us. Thank you, did. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, and here we go. The papers are here, and obviously the man that knows about the papers is here as well. Ladi Jalabi, good morning to you, and thank you indeed.
Good morning, Tunde. Good morning, Nigerians. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
I hope you slept well.
Well, I did. I was here night too.
Very well.
Fantastic.
Very well. All right, let's begin to check out the stories as I have them making the rounds from the different dailies this morning. I'll kick things off from the Punch newspaper for today. The Punch newspaper has quite a whole lot of headlines amongst pictures there today. The big bold caption there says, "Food crisis, military deploys troops in north central farms." And there is a rider to that story there. It says, Farmers Association Lord Tinubu says move will boost harvest, tackle food insecurity. Deployment with grants farmers access to farms, ensure heat-free planting season. And that's credited to the Defense Headquarters. And let's talk about this. Ladiji, military deploys troops in North Central. What do you make of that, first of all? Good move or just one of those things?
No, applausive, if you ask me, Tunde. It's a good development. We've always complained that farmers in the Northeast cannot go to their farms.
No.
And you will agree with me that some of the food we consume come from these areas,
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the last couple of years, these areas have been, under the attacks of bandits, and terrorists, terrorizing farmers there. As a matter of fact, we had in some places that they now charge, farmers money before they could access their farms. And this is a country that is governed by a law. And we have, our military, we have our police, we have our, Department of State Service, we have the NSCDC and all these people there. So for me, this is a welcome development. Let's just try as much as possible to maintain this and make sure farmers can return to farm. We have the arable land, we have the land mass for us to, as a nation, we should not be talking about hunger, because by nature we have been blessed with lands that we can plant on. Go to Niger State alone is sufficient enough with the landmass
Benue.
to feed. Benue,
Kebbi
all
rice,
these states
Benue,
out there,
yam,
Niger State, even, all these places can feed us, and feed us as a nation, but we, because farmers cannot return to their farms, everybody is afraid of their lives. Everybody wants to live long, but the fact that you own a farm and you are not sure of going there and coming back safely is what makes us arrive at this stage. But for me, I think the defense headquarters deserve an applaud for this one, doing the needful, and hopefully we get to see the result quickly, and the food crisis we are currently in goes down.
Well, for me, just looking at, we know the spate of killings, headers, farmers clashes, it's tilted, it's virtually around Nigeria, but here we are, the military deploying troops to just the northwest, north central. I think about 2 days ago, right here in the southwest, in Ondo State precisely, we saw women yesterday on the streets of Ondo, Akure, protesting and wailing because of the death of a farmer who was macheted and stabbed severally, that his intestine was had actually protruded out yesterday morning. They were half naked, and they protested to the palace of the Oba there. Shouldn't this be encompassing, as much as the military is overstretched at this point in time?
Well, I think you've just mentioned the major
critical areas
of our problem, which is the fact that our military guys are overstretched.
Absolutely.
In normal settings, you don't get to see military guys, often and often like that. You don't get to just see them on the road, but virtually everywhere you see them now. Go to the east, between Ore and Benin, in those states. You see about 2 or 3 military blocks, roadblocks there. You see military guys there. Between Benin, Agbo, Asaba, and even Onitsha in Anambra State, you see a lot of military roadblocks. If you move from Onitsha to Owerri, military road from Owerri to Aba, if you are going Aba, if you are going the way of Umuahia, you see military roadblocks there. These guys are there. These same guys will move. You just radio them. Oh yeah, move to Maiduguri tomorrow. Move to. These guys are overstretched already. Actually, as a serious nation, we should be able to empower. Most of the work we are bringing in the military guys to do is the work of the conventional police guys. But because we are not training these guys, what remuneration are we even giving them? How much are we paying them as salaries? For me, I'm one of the advocates that believes that no politician should earn more than teachers and police officers. These are the main guys that does the work. No politician should earn more than a medical doctor. What are they doing? They sit inside, they sleep off. Most of them doesn't even go to the office. Do you get? But these are the police guys who put them on the road. With most of the time, they fuel their own trucks. You give some of the divisional police offices 18,000 naira to run their whatever every month, and you want them to be effective. They won't be. When last did we train and retrain our officers? So if they cannot do these things, that is why we would have to overstretch our military. But back to what the question you ask, I know the country at large is having serious crisis with the issue, and you won't be lying if you say Ondo State or your state, there are places where people plant also. There are a lot of farmers, in those places too. We need to look at our security architecture, empower police officers the more, empower the NSCDC the more, and there must be synergy. These people must be able to work, in synergy to make sure that we fight these intruders. And, you may not like all the, activities or the policies of the late governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, but you will know in terms of internal security of his people, he did so very well. Absolutely. He was vocal in making sure that the lives and properties of his people, they are Amotekun. But I think it's in the last few months, we've been hearing little about the activities of Amotekun. I think the governors in the Southwest State need to really, put more things in place for these guys to be able to do the work. Enough of all this. We are not only hearing about the death of, farmers alone in the Southwest now. There are places where just recently a retired professor from, UNAD was kidnapped in his house alongside his security, and later on they find his body decomposing in the bush. we've had stories of kings, monarchs in Ekiti State, in Ondo State, being killed. So all these things need to really be, handled, because it puts fears in the mind of the people. If traditional rulers can be killed in such a manner, what happens to the ordinary citizens?
Earlier in the week, I think on this show, Evelyn and I discussed that issue when we saw that in the news. Rangers. I feel if we can actually train, get these people, they will be better off being in the bush, then empower them with a bit of the internal vigilantes or thereabout who know the terrain properly. You can't bring a soldier who from Kaduna to come and man somewhere here in Osun State.
So in terms of the military, they are trained to, sustain themselves, wherever they find themselves, they go for peacekeeping. But you're talking about is it they call them Power Rangers or Bush Rangers or whatever? In reality, how well are we ready to train these guys?
That's it.
That's the first question we should ask ourselves. What ammunitions are we ready to give to them? The bandits you want them to go and meet, they are going about in well-dressed Alexei Kalashnikov AK-47 rifles. Weapon of mass destructions. You've seen bandits with RPG. You see them around. And you want one Power Rangers to go and you'll be throwing something like Ogunlaka Yoshimole. Before you say your incantation to the last verse, you are gone.
You say it's in
you say the other one on the other side of the road. Of the river. So we need to, just beyond the rhetorics of, and we are doing this, what training are we ready to put in place for these guys? What are the weapons we are ready to give to them? Yes, I agree with you. You should put people that understand the terrain. But also they need backups from the conventional police. How far do we have the police to some of these bushes? So they travel from this place to, maybe you are going to Lagos or you are going to Ekiti, Ondo State. There are a lot of places you don't. Normally you have police posts in some of these areas that if there is an emergency, people just radio them. And if they see this they cannot handle, they radio a higher police post around them, and they set for backups. In the whole of Nigeria, how many police helicopters do we have? That they can say, okay, already something is happening in Kaduna State, and police from somewhere around Kaduna are there to rescue whatever is happening. You can't tell me the only time you see police helicopter fly is when the IG want to travel.
We'll get it right. Let's move on quickly. Still with the Punch newspaper. There is a big picture there on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Still, it has that headline, 149 Nigerians repatriated from Niger. I now wonder, Nigeria? Is there, with so much respect, I don't know, Niger? All right. We just hope you find life much better here. Federal government inaugurates panel for Naira-based crude sale. And motorists lament traffic snarl as Julius Berger resumes work on Long Bridge. Minor stabs 2 siblings, remanded in Ekiti juvenile home. Why? EFCC detains Nakon Chair, recovers 314,098 Saudi Riyal. Wow. And on the top strip of the same daily, prices skyrocket as petrol scarcity bites harder. And there is a rider to that story. Marketers blame supply shortage. NNPC keeps mum. Okay. All right. Power tariff. ASU demands reversal. Varsity bills jump by 300%. These are the headlines from the Punch newspaper. But before I go from there, power tariff, Ladiji, ASU demands reversal. Varsity bills jump by 300%. Aside varsity, this power tariff at this period in time, I know what it looks like when I probably have to buy maybe a 5,000 naira electric, what's it called?
Unit.
Within 1 week or thereabout, it's gone. And I look at it that, is this sustainable in Nigeria? Should there be a hike? Should there be a hike at this period in time? Fuel subsidy has just been removed, unification of the Naira, so many things, and it's biting hard. Now, the electric people are now saying they are hiking again. And as we're saying, theirs has gone up 300%. Is this not a trying moment?
Tunde, but at times I laugh when people come out eventually. Because in the universities, it's we call them the ivory tower, where we have the intellectuals. And most of the times when we see some of the government policies, they should be able to criticize as and when due for them to know. Because apparently the power usage in those universities will be very high. And who will bear the brunt? The students. That is why you see many students, many federal universities. Some federal universities that people in power today went to with 8,000 naira, at most then as their school fee. Now those schools are close to 200,000 naira plus. The children of the poor cannot go to school again. Why? Because the school fees are on the high. And it is funny, that time when the Minister of Power, for me, I'm not his fan. And I believe he doesn't have anything to offer in the power sector. What he wants to do, and maybe because of the ideology of the person in power as the president, is to rake him money. That's what he wants to do, because you have not given value to the people out there. If you want people to pay, okay, you complain Nigerians on their light, you don't need to tell people how they, HAB is their unit that they are buying. Nobody will tell you, if you see the number of units you have, that you need to off your free refrigerator or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you get? But first, give value.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, you don't remove subsidy on everything. You don't. These guys travel abroad. They know there is subsidy on virtually everything over there. Yes, people pay for what they earn, but for what they use. But there are some things government still subsidize, the basic things. But here in Nigeria, we have not gotten to the level of a 20-year-old. You want us to behave like Americans? It's a shame. And these guys go there, they enjoy the basic amenities. These people will tell you, if the president feels headache today, he will go to France. He will go to France. That's where they go to. These guys go to the UK. They go to America, they go to Canada, they go to India for good health care. But the good things you see in those countries, you don't want to bring here. You want to, I don't even know the right word to use now. But like you want to kill Nigerians. No, that's the reality. Because there will be ripple effect of this on everybody. The university is paying higher tariff for electricity. Where do you want them to get the funds from? And don't forget, most of these universities, especially the state-owned, most of the governors are not giving them subventions again. That's why you see university today, this university bread, this university table water, this university this and that. What they are meant to look into research, they don't have funds to go into that. So they have to look for every ways and means to get money. That's why you see every forms and different types of programs. JUPEB, all this and that, pre-degree, pre-this, pre-nursery, pre-GS1, pre-whatever in universities. Because they need to generate funds to run the university. It is not easy to run a university. Absolutely. It is not, but the funds are not coming in. The governors are not ready to fund them. The national, the federal government is not ready to give them the substantial amount of money. We prefer to buy SUVs for senators, for House of Rep members. We prefer to buy new vehicles for the president, new private jet, for them to enjoy their lives. But where we will make research for the country to develop, we give little or no amount of money to there. It's a shame on all of us.
One funny thing for me is the country in which most of us are trying to copy or follow after the United States. They don't play with research when it comes to, they fund their research institutes.
Femi, sorry. I don't know, I kept mentioning Femi since yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you know that in the United States of America, even as a foreign student, you want to travel to come and school there, you can get up to 100% scholarship.
Yeah, absolutely.
100. You are a foreigner. You are not an American citizen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up to 100%.
Yeah.
To come and study. There are a lot of Nigerians studying in America with no dime. I know of somebody that got admitted to university in America for his PhD, fully funded. They paid for his flight, the flight of his husband, of her husband and of her child, to come and study in America. These are places where they release funds to the university. Yeah. How many funds have they released to Obafemi University? How many funds have they released to University of Ibadan? How many funds have they released to University of Nigeria and Nsukka? How many funds have they released to Ahmadu Bello University? You want this university to be at their best, but you are not giving them funds. And out of it, you want them to go and raise funds for themselves, and they will pay electricity bill that is very high. No, we should get serious for once.
We just hope what should be budgeted for education should be, then probably it becomes more better. Let's go to the Guardian newspaper quickly. This morning, the Guardian newspaper, the big bold caption on the front page of the Guardian newspaper says, Southwest, 39 dams moribund over poor maintenance, obsolete equipment. And this is just what Ladeji has been speaking about here. Now, let me break it down for you that you can see it there on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. 75% of the dams in the country were constructed for domestic and industrial water supply. 33% for irrigation and water storage. 29% for fisheries. 16% for recreation. 4% for hydroelectricity. Now, how do we generate proper electricity? Now, you have the power generation in Nigeria, the grid and off-grid. Now, to the grid, for gas, you have about 74.05%, and hydro, 25.95%. For off-grid, renewables is about 21%, and generators, wow, that's 79% there. At least that's about 40,000 megawatts. All the dams are moribund. Aside the dams, you have still rolling mills, you have so many, the refineries. I think it was yesterday we spoke about refineries that are moribund, and we keep hearing now the Port Harcourt refinery, the resumption of work and production, it's been postponed again for the 6th time. I remember Ladeji said, even after this, we will still postpone again. But the needful will be done. I know that. We can no longer afford further hikes in interest rate. Manufacturers warn. Government begins implementation of zero duty on selected food items. What do you make of that? Good move in the aspect of high prices, inflation, cost of food is the food crisis we have generally is alarming. But government has begun the implementation of zero duty on selected foods, beans. There's this brown beans, maize, just a bit of these things. Would you say this is a good move, at least to bring down the food crisis that we're experiencing in Nigeria?
Of course, yes. Who would have thought they would wait this long to implement that policy? Because one of the most insensitive things that Buhari administration did to Nigeria was closing the borders. We have not really been able to produce. We've not solved the internal problem. We've not been able to produce to feed ourselves. You are shutting the border. I don't know who think for these guys. Sincerely yours. And it was Ed Baines, like I am Emperor Nero, and I will shut the border and there's nothing you guys will do about it. Does it make sense to you that Nigerians are dying of hunger and you live there in Aso Rock, fully armed, and you eat what you like, you do what you like. If you want to fly out of Nigeria, they clear a road for you from Aso Rock to, Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, and you fly on the presidential wing and you go. It doesn't make sense that Nigerians are dying of hunger, and because you just want to show you want to flex your muscles, you shut the borders. We have not produced what can feed us, not to talk of exporting. What are we producing? How many metric tons of yams are we bringing out? Is it not the same farmers that not go to farm? How many metric tons of maize are we bringing out? How many tons of, all this produce are we doing? What are we producing? People cannot go to farm again. Farms are being destroyed. But the best solution for Egbon Buhari then was to shut the borders. But I think, these guys, well, thanks to God, they didn't leave it too late to think that, we need to try and augment these things, maybe we have to, remove import duty on some of these things. Then, by the time we are self-sufficient, we can take, and as a matter of fact, till Jesus comes, there are some of the things we will still have to import. That's the reality. No nation in the world, even United States of America, no nation in the world, there is no nation that doesn't import.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There is no nation.
Or the other.
You will have a product that the only thing you make sure you do is that don't make your import you import much more than what you export, because it is by exporting that you get more money.
Absolutely.
So it's not a rocket science, but I don't know where Egbon brought his own ideology and he felt, we can practice the policy of alignment like Japan did after the Second World War, after the attack on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yusuf visits vandalized Kano High Court, says sensitive documents on Ganduje stolen. And party disowns Ebisemni as LP Guba candidate in Ondo. Pressure mounts on Tinubu to sack oil chiefs. And moving further up, WHO declares Mpox, that's monkeypox outbreak, a global health emergency. 18 die in 3 road crashes along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. We need to be careful on the expressway, please, and every other ways that we are passing. Protest. We are sitting on a time bomb. Sule tells northern governors. What do you make of that statement? We are sitting on a time bomb. Sule tells northern governors. There's always this notion that the North has always believed that they should be the rulers of Nigeria. And when I actually saw this story yesterday evening, I felt a bit, is this man trying to divide the nation with this statement, looking at what should it just be one side of the country that should rule the country?
Most of the time, don't let us fall victim of, the agenda of political guys, political gladiators that want to twig every statement and want to, say, let's look at the real issues. Are we not sitting on the keg of gunpowder? The number of out-of-school children, the highest in the country, is from the north. The number of, you see the number of Almajiris, when, Emir Sanusi Lamido always keep saying these things. If you don't have trained children, you have crises in your hands. And it's gradually coming to the southwest. You see, I saw a video of where they were sharing, these pasta one day. And you could see the number of people. Tunde, I asked you to drive to town, stretch your car at Olaiya Junction. In 5 minutes, more than 3-4 guys, able-bodied guys will approach you. Is that not a... You cannot place a block on the order in this same Oshogbo today. And you not see guys come to say they want to collect Owole. From where? 20, 30 years ago, we've never heard of that.
Absolutely, I agree.
Is that not keg of gunpowder? So when Sule Lamido is saying this thing, don't let us look at the political whatever to it. And do you know why the protest in the north was a bit prominent? Because there, easily, you can just, a lot of children doesn't have father. You, in the southwest, you can call your son in school. Hey, oh boy, I want you to return home to your mom. You must not do anything. What do you say about a boy that in Papa give birth to about 30 of them? He doesn't even know the number of children he has. And you want him, who controls them? Is that not a keg of gunpowder? But everything, the moment they say this, it is an IPOB apologist. The moment they say this, no, they do not want to remain in power. Please let us stop that. Reality on ground in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, today, do you want to listen to me? Many of the people that dress up every morning in suit and tie, that goes to office, many of us are underemployed. Because many Nigerians are not earning what they should be earning. But because people just have to work so that at least something at the end of the month can come to them. That's why you see many of us go to work. Many Nigerians are underemployed. Now go to the number of unemployment. Unemployed people. We keep on bringing out youth from the universities every year. We keep on getting more into the university, but we are not creating an enabling environment. Government will keep on saying there is no job, there are no jobs for them, there are no jobs. I do tell people there are no jobs for the children of the poor. Their own children get jobs, the best of the job. Every day they create an office in CBN. Every day they create office at the National Assembly. Their children work at the best of the places in Nigeria. Nemasa and all those places. It is children of the nobodies that will tell you at 25 you should go and bring 20 years of 5 years of experience after finishing NYC at age 24 and 6 months.
But then I'll just say, he who is being called to do the wrong thing, please use your number 6. Ladeji, I'd like to thank you most sincerely.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
With us here.
You did not greet me. Madrid won the Super Cup yesterday. And my new boy, Kylian Mbappe, got a
scoring on his debut.
No, there is a bragging right as a Madrid fan. You go about with your shoulder pads.
I know Joseph and Nengi will do justice to more of that in the world of sport this morning. All right. Thanking Ladeji Alabi for being here. And at this point in time, the conversation is next on the program. Morning Spring from Western Spring Television. There is a controversy making the rounds at the moment about senators' pay. Some have said RMA, FAC, in the course of this week, came out to say they pick up just 1 million plus. But a former senator from Kaduna State, Senator Shehu Sani, said during his period, he picks up about 13 million naira monthly. And Senator Sumaila came out as well to corroborate that at this period in time, he picks up about 21 million naira monthly. Who's deceiving who? What does this mean? The Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Committee, are they telling us the truth? Very shortly, we'll be joined by a social commentator, a public affairs analyst, and he is an economist. He will be joining us very shortly. And in the second part of the show, we will look at a review of federal government's tactics to combat insecurity. And there we will be joined virtually by a security expert. It's still Morning Spring from Western Spring Television. We'll take a short break. Yeah, and definitely my colleague is going to be here thanking her deeply for putting things together on the other side. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.